All right. So, for anyone that's just first meeting Nay, can you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, who Nay Risqué is.
Well, Nay Risqué is a brand that I created. My name is Janae Octave. That's how you say my name. But I'm from New Orleans. That's where I grew up until I was about 13. And I bounced around a little bit because that was when Katrina happened. That was something that was really significant in my life, I feel like. And so I lived in Texas, and then I lived in that was when I found out that I had an accent before. I never knew I had one
Right.
until then. And so then I lived in Texas, I lived in Georgia, and did I live in I think those were the only two places. But
Right.
it was a very, just bouncing around kind of time. And so yeah, I just was a girl who grew up, and one of my passions was always fashion, and I was always interested in those kind of things. Like, I would rent library books about like how to cut a line on your shirt and all that kind of stuff. Like, it was real nerdy, and all the like fashion documentaries that would come out on Netflix and everything like that that will always interest me. So that was how I would describe the beginnings of Nay Risqué and
Okay.
me as a person.
Okay. So, growing up, moving from New
Easy.
Orleans down to like still in the southern tier, but like the
Yeah,
language is different. A lot of people don't realize that. A person that
it's very different.
it's definitely and because I do remember when the New Orleans people came down to Mississippi or whatever, we always would like to say have them to say certain words, like baby and New Orleans or something like that. It was always that. So it's nice hearing it from your side, seeing that that was definitely an issue, because I'm guessing they would always want you to say baby
Yes, it was
always.
so traumatic. Like, it was like every 2 minutes, like, oh my God, say baby, say baby. You from New Orleans, say baby. Like, it would be like it would give me. It was just like I felt like I was not a person. Like, it was like a show. And
Right.
even to this day, like when people say, like, they be like, "Oh wait, you don't sound like you from New Orleans." It's like you want me to perform what you think a person from New Orleans is.
Right.
And it's like, yes, I did move around, but I've gone back home so many times. Like, it's nothing to go home. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I get that. And it was cute hearing you talk about the story, like going just you really nerded out when it came to fashion, like watching the documentaries, just reading up on it. Was there something that kind of like sparked your attention, or did you just automatically love fashion?
I do think it was something that was always in me because my mom growing up, she would always like when I would get ready for school, she would always say, "Janae, it's not a fashion show," and I would be like, "Girl, it
Yes, it
is.
is.
Like, it really is." Like, I would take it so seriously, and I just remember being in high school, really, stepping into my own. I feel like when you're a young lady in high school, you really discover yourself outside of your parents. And so I found my own hobbies. And I just remember when I found that documentary, the meticulousness, like the being able to be lost in your work, like being so passionate about what you're doing, that always spoke to me that I always wanted my life to be like that. I didn't want it to be, complaining about my job all the time. I wanted to create something for myself that I really loved and was financially beneficial.
Yeah, yeah, of course, that finances does come into play. And it's cute that you say that. So you wear so many hats. You're a mom, you're an entrepreneur, you're a creator. What's like, I guess, the heartbeat that keeps it all balanced? Like, how do you how do you do all that all at once?
I feel like, to me, I would say being present whenever I'm doing something. I try to really just focus on that one thing. Like, even though I am a mom, I don't show my children on live because I balance that time out with, when I'm with them, I'm just with them. Like, I'll give them my full attention. When I'm live, this is something that I take seriously and that I care about. So I give it my full attention when I do it. Whenever I'm cleaning, I give that my full attention. When I'm cooking, I do that. If I'm editing, I just really hone in on when I'm in the moment of doing something, giving that my all and not being distracted.
I wonder if that's the Taurus in us. We're we're very much just one task focused. Now we can multitask. Don't get us wrong. We
I
can definitely
can. I just don't.
multitask.
I like to
Oh
really
wow.
zone in.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I would say you've been doing a really good job at multitasking lately because you've been doing the lives, which you've been calling like the productivity lives, where you're editing your website, you're coming up with ideas. We have our little pick me up meetings there too as well. So I feel like in steps like that, you do multitasking. But I'm guessing that's because Nay Risqué is what you're doing now. Your shoppable lives, your content creation, all that stuff is kind of tied into what you are or who you are and what your brand is about.
Yes.
So so you kind of already answered this question, but we're just gonna go more into it. We'll talk fashion. Like, what inspired you to start your business in the fashion industry, and how did Nay Risque come to life?
Yes. I know before I did talk about high school, but it did go back even before then in elementary school. Me and my best friend in elementary school, we would always, it would be fun for us to go to Walmart and we would get like t-shirts and get like jeans, just get cheap little clothes that you could cut it up, like make it into capri pants. Or when Ed Hardy was in, you would try to cut your shirt up like Ed Hardy and really get into those knots. So it was just something that is just in me.
Thank you, Melina.
And like now being a mom, like I just feel like people, every person comes with their own interests. It's very unique to them, and that's just something that always was a part of me. That was something that I would bond with. That was how I would make friends in school, like other girls who were into, makeup and fashion. Those would become my friends. That's who I would gravitate to. So it was just always a part of me.
Okay.
And but it's just so funny because that's not my mom. Like she don't like none of this kind of stuff. Like it's not like I grew up on that. Like she would be like, girl, I would get in trouble in high school for wearing makeup. But it was just I wanted it.
Yeah, it was like you were born to be like that prissy, that girl, like that. That was you. And so, like, with all that being said, how did Nay Risque come to life?
I would say I would say in 2018, 2019. And just tying in like from my past, I remember like growing up and watching this show Gossip Girl, and it was like about this blog. And so Neriscape started out being like a blog, and I would like link. And I wish there was some kind of way to show people how detailed this was. And I credit like I always tell you my favorite show is The Kardashians, but it's like season 10 when they created their apps. That really spoke to me. Like seeing them do that, I taught myself how to create my website like that. Like how to go in and create the link and connect the product. Like somebody could just go in and I could just show them this is what I used to do this. And that was fun for me because people would ask about like what makeup products I was using. So that would make it easy for me.
Okay. Um, yeah. So that's cute. It's like this link keeps swallowing. Now that's cute is like the fact that you said you come up watching like Gossip Girls and stuff like that, and watching it and getting like a love. Hello, Alexis, welcome in. Getting a love for like blogging, and not only blogging, coming up with the website. Kardashians, you talk about them a lot in your actual live. Like you talk about their books. We have conversations about them. So it's neat to know that they kind of started that. Did you use Tumblr? Like, what was your
Yes,
Tumblr?
I was
Okay,
a big fan of Tumblr. Love Tumblr so
same,
much, and it's still
same.
up to this day. My Tumblr still exists. But what I also wanted to say too was starting Neriscape, like actually branding it, like taking it seriously, was in 2018, 2019, because that's when I was working at Ulta. And no, even before that, because I started working at Charming Charlie, it was my first retail job,
I
and I
remember
used to
Charming
love
Charlie.
going to the booth. Like it just felt like going to a boutique every morning, opening the door, opening the store, turning the lights on, all the products. Like it always was so fun to me. So I was just that was when the dream of like having my own store kind of started, because that was the feeling, because it was a small store. Like we would have the key and we would open the doors and everything every morning. So it kind of put me in that energy of, you wake up, you go to your store, you open it up, you count the cash register, all that kind of stuff. It started putting me in that mind state, marrying that in with all these dreams of like being a teenage girl, watching these documentaries, all this childhood, marrying that all together to become this. Like I said, at first it was a blog, and then I would use my art at first, like the actual paintings, to make then clothing, was how it became like a clothing line. So yes, I would get my own. I would use my own money, because you have to, like, when you really want to do something, you got to put your
Yeah,
own
you
money
got to.
behind it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't ask nobody else. You can't be taking, like, you got to use your own hard earned money. So I would work at Ulta. I would go in 5 a.m., do the truck shift, get off at about 10 a.m., go to Michael's, buy the paint brushes, canvas boards, all that kind of stuff. And I would, like, go home, listen to music and paint, listen to podcasts. Like, it was a really special time, I would say.
Cool. I remember Charming Charlie's. That was the cutest little store. They
It
had
was
like all
so
the cute little
cute.
accessories. So being able to see yourself in that place, like you were doing it, but for a whole nother company, kind of push you like, oh, I can do this. You know, I can do it for them. Why not for myself?
Exactly.
So I love that. So again, you were really good at these questions because they all tie together. So when did you realize you wanted to turn your love for arts and creativity into a brand and business? And like you said, it's kind of like it comes from not only your background in fashion, like wanting to do fashion, but also working in the retail establishments and filling them out, and then
Yeah.
mixing those two together. So you answered that question perfectly. So I'm really gonna switch to the next one. What's been your biggest lesson so far in running a fashion brand while also being a content creator?
To believe in myself. Cause, whenever you first start doing something, especially something different, and you know how it is in the South, you can't just break the mold like that. People be like, what you think you're doing? Like, girl, no, you supposed to do this. I'm like, no, that's not really what I want to do. I want to do this. They're like, that don't make no sense. They be quick to ask you, well, are you making money? That's the first thing. Like,
Yeah, always.
always, like, if it ain't making money, it ain't making sense. So that made me even more want to double down and be like, no, like, I'm serious. Like, I will believe in myself. I will put my money up. I will bet on myself. Like, it's scary, because it is, like, it is betting on yourself. But like I said, you have to really, really believe. If you don't believe, who else is gonna believe? Like, I really believe in it.
And I'm okay with you saying thank you to, your chat in regards
I
to
was
like
just
your
gonna say,
heart
hey,
me's and stuff like
Christiana
that.
girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that because again, that's what we do. So okay, okay. Mrs. I'm not Mississippi, but South in general, they always want to bring you down when they feel like you're not doing the norm. So I'm glad that you brought that up. Being from the South, you know that they want us to stick to, like you said, in that mold. They want us to be these type of people that we aren't. And I think that's again what sets you and all the others apart from being just a regular content creator because you're on it not only to grind, but you're also on it to say, hey, like I know I can do it. Like
Right.
you didn't know, but I knew.
Right.
um, so so you go live often enough. Uh, what made you finally push that go live button? Because when I say often enough, you're on here like at least twice a day, in the morning, in the evening, in the morning, in the evening. So to me, that's a big push. That means you really believe in yourself in going live and also being a content creator. But what made you press the button first? Like, what made you press that go
um
live button?
To be honest, I felt like the app TikTok itself, when I would open it, it just felt like people, my algorithm, it felt like people was just being raw, just being themselves and just talking about their lives. And I wanted to just, have people to talk to. Like, I wanted to chat. I was like, that looks like fun. So that's what made me want to press the live button. And I actually did watch a little bit of my first live, since we talked about how it is on like YouTube, and it was just so
Yeah.
interesting to watch.
Hi, Swan. Welcome in. Yeah, it was cute. I watched it. It was adorable. I was like,
This
look
is
at
funny.
her. She was just waiting for the people to come in. Like, what do I do? Do I interact? And
Right,
it's like that third live is switched. Like
right.
literally, it was no longer just, that little innocent face just going live. It was next, you had your book ready, you was speaking to everybody. It was like you were comfortable. So it didn't take you too long at all. This was definitely meant for you to do. So that's cool. So you were at first wanting to build a community, and then okay. I love that. So we already know like kind of how your first live went, but were you nervous, excited,
I
mix of
was
both?
so nervous. I was so nervous. Like even when I was watching it back, I remember being scared because I remember halfway through I was like, "Girl, just turn it off. Just turn the thing off." And then the funny thing is, that's not even my real first live. My real first live, I went to what was it? Somewhere I went. I was like, "Oh, this is a cute place. Let me just go live." I sat there for like all of 1 minute, less than a minute. Turn that thing off. I was like, "Nah, girl."
Yeah, same. That's how I did for my birthday. That was my first live. Was my birthday like a year or so ago. And then immediately turns it off because what was I doing?
Immediately, you be like,
Like,
"Nah,
why was I doing that? Like, why? What is this
this
for?
is
Who is this?
crazy."
Yeah, why am I doing this? So yeah, you're definitely nervous. So I would say, and I'm switching the question up a little bit, but it's still gonna be the same. You've really mastered your shoppable lives because I know the question says lives shoppable, but your shoppable lives and just entertaining your people. What's your secret to keeping your viewers like engaged from start to finish, like to the beginning of the live all the way to the end?
For my shoppable lives, I would definitely say having the product. I really like to have the product. I know there is a way to do it where you don't have to have it, but that doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-mm.
People want to see you use it, you know?
Like, why is it here? Yeah.
Yeah, I like that concept is crazy to me. But hey, it's working for some people. Hey, I don't knock it. But for me, I like to have the product and show people, how to use it, how it looks. And like I told you, we're going to be expanding it to include fashion. We do beauty, but we are including fashion too in our content now, since it's going more from just my personal. Because I do, like at the beginning, it was just me kind of playing around on my TikTok. And then one day I was just like,
Yeah.
hey, I want to take this, serious. And I leave that up just because I do want people to see the journey. Like, just like you said with the YouTube, you can see. And I always knew, I'm like, one day it's going, when you get comfortable, it's going to be like, I want it, wherever this leads me, I wanted somebody to be like, when I make it big, be like, where did
Mm-hmm.
it all start? Like, girl, it was a girl just nervous in her apartment,
Yeah.
trying to make friends.
And I remember you telling me like one of the first week I started going into your live, you were like, "Yeah, if you missed today's episode, it's gonna be on YouTube. Like, that's where you can find it." So I just seeing that they were on there, like the episodes were on there, everything was on there is neat to me because it shows that, like you say, you knew for a fact you were gonna get big, and you're pushing. Like you're not just steady, just walking like little small steps. You're pushing because right now you're pushing to get to C4,
Yes,
which I
girl,
love.
that little C5 10% keeps blinking
Yes,
at me.
yes. It's like that. That's how it. Well, you've seen it. It's definitely like that.
It's like that for sure.
So we're pushing through these questions as a creative, especially one that uses effects and visuals so well. Because like I tell you all the time, I love the way you do your videos. They're not just like a little small angle here, small angle there. You're switching from your face to products to like I'm guessing symbols in my head. Um, where do you get the inspiration for your ideas, and how did you start kind of experimenting with it?
I would say my biggest inspiration came from reality TV, like reality TV and music videos together. Like I like watching shows like Real Housewives and the Kardashians and even like The Hills back in the day. Like I love reality TV shows. So um sometimes I would watch, and sometimes my whole purpose in watching would just to be how they shot each angle, like how they made this look good. and I would experiment with my YouTube videos, like that one I showed you, my 2024 makeup, which was so crazy to see. It was like, wow, but I loved all of, and like you said, I do like the way you made me realize that I do like that. I do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Using the different angles because, it's really, like I said, giving people the feel of the product, like
Yes.
what it's like to use it.
Yeah, I definitely get that from you. I get a like this calm, peaceful, this kind of like I would say it girl personality with the with the smells. Like I can't smell it through a TikTok video, but I know how it smells. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a little fruity, and I like it. I'm enjoying it. I'm for it. So it definitely it stays on brand, which you talk about a lot in our content cafe. Is that you keep your videos on brand. What was the thing that you were saying? You make it to where it's cohesive with the what is it called again? The stickers or something like that with your videos on top of
Like
your
my
videos.
grid or the effects
Hmm.
filters,
Hmm. The effects
all of
filters
it.
and also like your wording. You put words on yours though, right?
Yes, overlays are what they're called.
Yeah,
So like a little
overlays.
text, a
Mm-hmm.
small text. I Well, you could do any size.
Yeah.
I've been using just the small text, and I like it because I think it makes you focus. It makes the
Mm-hmm.
reader focus in on what you're saying. So that's a little algorithm hack. If you
Making
want to
them
get
pay
your video all the
attention.
way viewed through, put a little text on there and make them have to read for a moment.
Like turn around, like look, I gotta go back. What she just saying that?
Right.
So yes.
And when you sneak like a small little cute clip in there, that makes people come back too. Because you be like, what
Hold,
was that?
hold up now. Not her. What are they called? Like Easter eggs, almost. Like Disney does that a lot. They have like the little small Easter eggs to where they'll have like another Disney movie in it, but it's like always really, really small or carrots in the background. So that's neat. I like the fact that you mentioned that. Um. So, what's one creative moment that made you think, yeah, I'm really doing this?
Well, recently, last week, Carla, getting that banner done meant the world to me, and the fact that it came out, and thank you so much for that inspo photo. That really did help, and and even like just having that friendship, like we talked about in our content cafe, having a friend to bounce ideas off is so helpful, and it just keeps you so motivated and just going, and it's like you have someone who really does believe in you. Like, yeah, it's my friend, but she really believes in me. Like,
Yes, of course.
that is valuable. It's not just, you know,
Yeah, and yeah,
not
I.
gonna get irritated.
No, no, no. I definitely right, same. That's like but no, I do believe in you, and I tell you that all the time. I believe in what you do when you do your shoppable lives, when you're doing your money mindset. I know I bring that up a lot because those not TikToks, those lives used to mean so much. Like I would wake up in the morning, go to work, and I knew before a little bit before lunch, Nay was gonna pop up, and we were gonna talk. She was gonna tell me
Yeah.
something. She was gonna read a book. She was gonna keep me motivated, and you still do that to this day. So I do appreciate you. So I'm gonna always believe in you because there was definitely some hard times in the beginning, and you definitely pushed me through a lot of those without me even really knowing you, who you are, now to where we are now. So I do appreciate you. So yeah, of course I will always believe in you on that. Um,
Yes, but I did want to get back to your question because when you were talking about you said what was like, oh, we're really doing
yeah,
this.
yeah,
I
I'm really
hate to
doing this.
keep bringing this up back to that money mindset, but tying in using your own money because I had to order those samples because I'm learning how to sew. That is
Hmm.
something new. I know we're gonna talk about that at the end. Anyway, so staying focused on the now, but when you make your design and you get that sample, and first of all, you don't know if it's gonna be right. You don't know if you're gonna have to reorder it, if the size and it's a lot. But you have to, like we talked about, believing in yourself is so, 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 so important because that's gonna make you, we all know how valuable money is. I know we throw it around on TikTok, it's lion, tigers, and bears, but at the end of the day what it really means. So,
A lot.
putting your own capital behind yourself is you putting your money where your mouth is. That's me saying, or anybody, any entrepreneur, that's you saying, I'm serious. I'm not playing. You know, this is business.
Yeah, this is for real, and I agree on that. Yeah, you're definitely putting your money in it, and I like the fact that you mentioned that you're currently learning a new skill to be able to kind of upgrade it. You're putting forth yourself, not only by the money but also by the learning experience, because learning experience is money too, and it's in
Right.
its own
You're
self because it's
fine.
time. Yeah, it's time
Mhm.
consumed. So yeah, that's cute. I like that. So for moms out there watching who want to start a business or just create content but feel like super scared, what would you tell them?
I would say show up for yourself. Definitely as a mom. I would say it's definitely a tourist thing that I have to again bring that money thing back up. As a mom, you need to be able to, financially be able to provide. You want to be able to get your kids snacks and all that kind of stuff, and you don't want to have to wait on nobody. You want to just whoop, there it is. Let's go.
like here it
Let's
is.
do it.
Okay. So just kind of like Nike, just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it. I like
Hmm.
that. What motivates you to keep creating content even on the days it's hard to show up?
I would say I'm a very creative person, and I feel like all creative people are in some kind of way. You're gonna find a way to be creative, like
Yeah.
whether it's for a camera or not. You're gonna be creative in some kind of way. If you were meant to make music, you're gonna do it. If you're meant to do anything, that's what you're just gonna do. So I feel like it's just because who I am. Like it was gonna be that either way.
No, yeah, because I mean, you are. I definitely tell you all the time. You're a star. You have a star personality. So of course, even on your bad days, you probably won't be able to see it at all. On definitely on this app, I know for a fact we won't be able to see it. So I love the fact that you've always pushed through. You're very consistent. I don't know a lot of days where you just did not go live. So the consistency is there, and the fact that you're always showing up for yourself is definitely inspirational, not only to me, but I know to others. Um, so these questions are sliding on through, and I'm
Yes, that's
happy for it.
fine.
So let's see here. What are some of the challenges you face as a woman? And I would like to add black woman too as well in the business and fashion industry. And how have you like overcome it?
I would say, the hardest part is not being taken seriously at the beginning. Like you'll start saying you want to do something, and people just be like, "Yeah, all right, whatever." You be like, "Yeah, no, I'm not really joking like that. Like I'm serious." And they're like, "Yeah, you still doing that you still doing that Nay risk thing, risky thing." It's real provocative. It's really all that kind of stuff.
I hate that
All
word.
that kind of stuff. So.
Yeah. So it's
So
like,
yeah, overcoming that part, like overcoming like the negative feedback, because it is vulnerable whenever you first start doing something and you put in like you really put in yourself. Like what else do you have in this world besides yourself? Like really, putting yourself out there, it can be very difficult. But like I said, you just got to keep believing in yourself, and just be like, no, I'm. And even when we did over the summer, when we did, when I read my own book, was when I was like, that was when I was like, I think I'm downplaying myself. Like I was impressed by my own work.
as you should. Glam therapy was really good to read and
It
listen
was
to.
so good when we read it. I was like, damn, hold up. I'm like, I feel like we said something valuable here. So that's what really
Very.
made me sit back. And like you said, a moment. That really was a real moment in real time on that live. I was like, I feel like we talked about trauma. We talked about some really deep topics in those
We
lives. So
do. We do.
it's very valuable, especially like someone like you. You were live in that moment, so you know what it was like. So that is so special.
I remember that. We definitely went into some deep conversations, especially about the trauma. I think one of the things you mentioned was the mama just pushing you out. Of course that's something that's natural, but just mentioning that as a thing was really neat, and that was one of the lines that I definitely always will remember from glam therapy. So yeah. Yeah, that definitely was like when you told me about the book and we started reading the book, I was like, yeah, this girl is who she says she is. Not that I didn't think it before, but that one was just like a little hit on the
I think
nail.
we all on the
Like,
live all
yeah.
sat for a moment, like, you know what? Like, this really is real. And that
Yeah.
was a very special moment. So thank
Yeah.
you for
Of
being there,
course.
truly.
Yeah. No, I definitely I like seeing moments like that because we're on here to have fun, but also to be able to show ourselves or just, give ourselves that. Because I'm feeling like for me, this is therapy for my inner child. I always want to do it. So
Right.
we're doing it.
Like it's fun in a lot of ways, but it's like it is vulnerable. Being your
It
real self.
is.
Like we talk about, our favorite songs, our favorite color. We talk about our day. We talk about so many things on here. And
We
so that
do.
is why I value this app so much. And I feel like that's why I've been able to be consistent because, it is like we talk about the word community. It's friendship. It's real people. So it matters. Like, I care.
That reminds me of the Beyonce song, I Care. So yeah, definitely I
Mhm.
care. um so when it comes to your brand, Nay Risqué, what's the message or vibe you want people to feel when they wear your pieces?
The message or vibe that I want them to feel is number one, bold. Like it's a very, I feel like my brand is very bold. We got the string bikinis, we have bodycon dresses, those kind of things. So very curved. We're into accentuating the curves, and we know like we talked about. I'm a mom. Someone may be a mom. We have a diverse size range. We go up to 2X. We got you covered and covered. So that's always good. And yeah, I always say one of my first business card, it was shaped like a heart. Probably have a post somewhere of it, and I say my heart is in my art, and so that's why I just like talking about that real vulnerability, that real putting yourself out there, the art, the heart of it. Like it's all really who I am. I'm like, yeah, I'm like just and we always talk about being your real self on here. I'm like, I don't know what else to be. Like I even was thinking about it to myself. Like I will go full blown artsy flower child woo on y'all. Like just
Yes. I'm okay
like
with that. I love flower children. I'm a flower child myself, so I'm okay with that. So yeah.
oh, and I did want to say too, because I was thinking about, the ancestry of it. I do have my grandfather was an entrepreneur. He owned his own grocery store. My mom had different businesses. So it is something that just, is instilled in me. So
Hmm.
that is also where I will give credit to, of course.
Okay, having that background in it, or having that basically the genes, and I feel like those entrepreneurial genes, they stick
They
regardless of
do.
if it's one generation or it's next generation. They're gonna stick to how it is. So yeah, I like that. I didn't know that. That was nice to hear about your mom and your grandpa. Um, so can you tell everyone a little bit more about your? It says your website, but I want to say more so your brand, but also your website and what they can shop or look forward to from your collections.
Yes. Well, like I said, we have our dresses. I'm really leaning into the dresses right now. Like I'm designing a new one right now. And that's why I made a dress in my emoji when I was in my friend's live in the lab. I was in Scott Live. We were talking about branding, but we were talking about the emojis, and we had a real conversation about like why would you put certain emojis in your name? And so that's what made me put the dress emoji because we want that brand identification. It's easy, instant, like it's a clothing line.
Right.
It makes sense. And like I said, I'm leaning into dresses. In the summer, I did have the bikini emoji in my name too because
Yeah,
we
I
were
remember that.
focusing on the bikini. So as each season, I feel like I lean mostly into one, like highlight one style of product that like I kind of my hyper fixation and creativity will come out in there. Like if I'm into dresses, I'm like, ooh, what about this dress? What about that dress? So
I
that's where
like
it
that.
gets fun.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
didn't know that, and it's neat to see that because I do remember the string bikini on there, and now because TikTok has it to where on the TikTok live studio you can see the person's name when they're speaking. So yours does have that cute little dress on it. So I love that. So yeah,
Right.
that's neat. So what's to come forward is mostly just not just but dresses is one of the ones that you're focusing on. You're heavy focusing on designing right now.
Yeah.
Um, all
And
right.
I still have sports bras. I feel like I've been talking about these sports bras forever. Like I've had them, I just never put them on the site. But I will highlight those as well because I feel like the fall and the winter time is just the best time to just, get it
Yeah.
together, honey.
Yes, get ready for the summer. Like, 'cause
Get
that's when
ready for
people
that
work out the
spring time.
most is trying to get
Yes.
summer hottie. So yeah, they're they're working out and nothing beats that from a sports bra. So I like I said, this just went by super fast. We're right about 40 minutes here, but we're sitting at the last question. So last but not least, what's next for Nay Risqué? And you did mention a little bit of it earlier, but we're gonna pretend like we didn't hear it. We didn't hear it. Any new projects, goals, or visions you're excited to share?
Yes, like I said, I'm learning how to sew. So that's actually really fun. I did want to share, like, just for people in general, as you grow older, just continue to have, hobbies and interests. Continue to learn new things as you get, into adulthood. It makes it fun because even now, I wake up with a purpose. I'm like, oh, my samples are gonna come in. I'm getting my sewing machine. Like it gives you that sparkle in your eye when you're, I don't want to say chasing your dream, but I want to say bringing your dreams to reality. That's what I
Right.
want to say.
Instead of yeah. That's a nice way of thinking because I don't think about the fact that chasing your dream does sound a little negative because it's like you're always gonna
Right. I was
run
like, because
behind
even I
it.
was about to say it, and I was like, no, that's not what I want to say. I want to say we're gonna make it. We're gonna bring it into reality. Hey, Miss Rocket.
So sewing in regards to creating it from scratch or like getting the
Yes,
products that you
learning
have
how to
now and
make
adding
the
to
song.
it. Okay. Okay. I like
Yes,
that.
learning
All
about those different
right.
fabrics. Like it's so fun. There's so much to learn.
Do you have a
Thank
favorite
you.
fabric now that you like? Because I know you were
Yeah,
talking about a
it's called the
dress.
Prima cotton, that really,
Cream.
really
Okay.
soft cotton. I was like, girl, what's up with me and the damn cotton? Like I like
Right.
that Yankee Candle clean cotton, but the Prima soft cotton is just so soft and buttery, like when it's on your skin. So there is that. It's called a recyclable polyester. It is environmentally friendly because, like I
Hmm.
said, it's recyclable and it's very stretchy. If I
Okay.
had one near me right now, I will show you. But yeah, that really stretchy material. It is cost effective. The Prima cotton, obviously. Now, when you get into those more softer cotton blends, it is more expensive. But
I like that. See, again, I'm learning something new about you because I did not know you were into fabric. Like that was just, as you can see, that's not on our list of questions. So that's nice to know. Well, Nay, like I said, that literally was the last question here. Is there just an ending that you would like to end it by, like telling the people where to find you, promoting any new products or anything like that? Just feel free to do it now. It's perfect timing.
yeah, Nay Risqué is my brand. Instagram is Nay Risqué. YouTube, what else do I have? Instagram, YouTube, the website, nayrisque.com. TikTok, same handle. I try to keep it cohesive because you want it to be easy for people to find you. And when you use different platforms, I feel like you get to show different sides of yourself. TikTok is really good for that short, quick highlight. YouTube good for longer format videos, like when somebody just wants to sit and watch. Instagram really great for that photo, and people like to communicate a message through Instagram too. So yeah,
Okay. All right. Well, good job, Nay. I enjoyed it.